Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, so this is just another one of my little random thoughts about this fight, Wladimir Klitschko versus Anthony Joshua. I'll be making a lot of these videos, so in this video I may not get to every single thing there is to talk about concerning this fight. But one thing I was thinking about, and you guys know that I'm favoring Anthony Joshua in this fight. I've gave my reasons. I respect Wladimir Klitschko, his long reign. I know all about his history, all right, but I just think these new wave of heavyweights, they may beat Wladimir Klitschko. But anyways, about this fight though, man, I was thinking about Klitschko and some of the ways that he can win, and there are a lot of ways Klitschko can win. This guy's a future Hall of Famer. His jab, when he pot shots in with power shots, like that left hook, the straight right hand. He has a great jab. But what I was thinking about, man, is I'm curious to see what his legs look like in this fight. I think Wladimir fights at his best, man, when he's a little defensive, not necessarily when he's coming just forward the whole fight. When he can mix it up a little bit. I'm watching the Mariusz Wach fight. I've been watching a lot of his fights, man, ever since the fight's been signed with Joshua, just going over some old fights. But when he's bouncy and springy on his legs, man, Wladimir Klitschko's a hard guy to beat because he already has the jab established. Usually 9.9 times out of 10, he's out jabbing his opponents. Fury was able to do it mixed in with some mobility and moving, and then he started to mix in with his jab, and he had Vladimir's timing down. Pulev was going jab for jab with him in the early rounds, and then Klitschko started to time Pulev's jab with power shots. But Klitschko's a guy. His defense is his legs, and then him being able to wrap you up at close quarters if he's not feeling comfortable to exchange with you. So I'm curious to see what his legs are going to look like, man. If he can establish distance with his legs and make Joshua overcommit on right hands and left hooks on his power shots, get Joshua reaching a little bit, then Wladimir can possibly clip him on the end of those punches. But Wladimir has different levels he can go to with his style. Sometimes he'll stand there and, bend his shoulders over his waist and make you miss, and he'll do those types of things. But I think he can only really do that with Joshua if he's comfortable and he gets in a position where he's comfortable enough to do that. I don't think he wants to do that right off the bat because then he'll be right in line for Anthony Joshua right hand. And Joshua's left hand looked good in his last fight against Molina. The left hooks and his jab also. You know what I mean? His jab got some power on it too. But Wladimir can probe and peck away with his jab. He can step in with hard jabs. He can turn the left hook over on his jab. Real tricky guy. That's why he's one of the best heavyweights to do it. Wherever you want to rank him, some people have him in their top 10. I've heard some people in here have him #1 heavyweight. You know what I mean? But he is definitely one of the top heavyweights I've seen fight. But yeah, man, I just think with the advanced stage, heavyweights in their 40s. Some heavyweights, they age well. So we'll see what Wladimir has in this fight with Joshua, man. But yeah, I definitely think if Wladimir has some good legs, he has good legs and he's a little bit springy and he's a little bit bouncy and he can move around a little bit. He's definitely gonna give Joshua trouble if he can establish that. Kind of what he was doing in this Wach fight late, and kind of what he was doing in the Pulev fight, where he's able to leap, bounce in and bounce out. And he has this punch where, if you've been watching Wladimir, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Is where he'll be probing with his jab and he'll be flicking it from his hip and he'll be flicking it. And when he has it down by his hip, he kind of turns his glove over and he kind of uppercuts you from that position where he's bringing the uppercut from his hip, just like the same way he brings his jab up. He can mix it up on you, man. So his glove placement is some of the best as far as the way he can turn his punches over without using a lot of momentum or winding up to throw them. I mean, this guy literally, like when I say his left hook off his jab, he can shoot the jab, and from that same position he's shooting the jab, just turn his glove over and throw a left hook. He's not the only guy to do this, but there's little subtle things like that Wladimir is great at as far as his punch variation and his selection of punches. But yeah, man, if Wladimir has some good legs and he's springy on his legs in the first few rounds and he's able to peck away with jabs and he can make Joshua overcommit when he's coming forward, Because I think if there's anybody going backwards, I think initially it'd be Vladimir. But if Vladimir can hurt Joshua, then of course, he'll start pushing him back. But yeah, man, I'm curious to see what Vladimir legs look like. 41-year-old. I guess we'll see, man. You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm out.